Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the greatest race course in the world. It is the Indy Oval, the sprint at the Speedway. This is the third round of the VOR iRacing IndyCar Sprint Series presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning. So, the first and only oval race on the schedule today is going to be a very different style of racing to what we've been used to this season, and also in the series in general. So, let's see what is going to happen today. It's going to be a bit of a battle between the road professionals and the oval specialists, I guess you can call it. Uh, Carrying over from all the road courses is one additional tie set in the race, a one lap, one shot qualifier of 5 minutes. The race will be 40 laps or 30 minutes, whichever comes first, and iRacing will throw cautions for incidents. So we might not get to the full race distance, just like last week on the road course of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we'll see what happens. Perhaps it's going to be a very clean race, who knows? We'll find out in about 30 minutes time. So 3 minutes left on the clock for qualifications, as we are currently watching Carol Stout. I say that wrong. Oh, this Carol Stout is sporting a new livery. I was about to say. It looked awfully familiar. So Carol Stout across the line for his first and only lap. To start his first and only lap, I should say. Going through turn 2 now. Let's jump on board here with the 43. Dave Stedman currently on the provisional pole, ahead of Tijn van der Velde, and now Archie Coveney jumps into the third spot. Across the line, Stout goes. I think he can get close to pole, and he does come close, but he's still a tenth off, unfortunately for him. Let's jump to Patrick Zilvassi, who is out on the track as well. Across the line he goes to, I believe, start his lap. Yes, he does. Through turn 2. Ideally, you'll want to get all the way down under that white line to get the least distance covered. Shorten the distance equals more lap time. Generally speaking, anyway. And again, above the white line, so taking an interesting line. Maybe it works out for him as Nathan Moore goes to the top. And just like that, Adam stayed to the top. Patrick Zilvassi across the line goes to P5. Not too bad of a run. Let's see Alaric van den Bos here fighting an ear infection. So hopefully for him he can listen to the engine sounds alright. As he is still not representing the right livery. I did send it to him, but didn't get the message in time. But either way, in his orange VOR Claren. I know it's inspired by something from his childhood, I believe, but can't quite get to the name of it from the top of my head. But either way, across the line he goes. And it will be... There we go, finally it updated itself. P14 on the board for him. As looking down the order a little bit, if I can spot anybody on track still. I don't think so. So 21 seconds left on the clock. And that will bring us to the end of qualifications. So let's bring those overlays off the screen for just a second. As we take a look at the schedule for this season, the sprint series, of course, today is the Indy Oval. Then we have an off week next week. Before we go to Brands Hatch, which was one of Liam's picks. So if that race sucks, blame him. And then to close out the season on October 17 is the Red Bull Ring, which actually quite controversially almost won the vote for the IndyCar Pro Series. But the Iconic Series, up next is the California 200 on October 4th, then Pocono, Kentucky, Legacy, Phoenix, Michigan, and Las Vegas to close out that season. And lastly, of course, the premier IndyCar Series at Laguna Seca on October 5th, then Pocono, Kentucky, Modern Phoenix, Detroit, and Las Vegas. So that is your schedule for the rest of 2024 in terms of Velocity Online Racing action. Let's bring up the starting grid for today's race, for our first and only oval event of the season. So it's Adam State on the front row on the pole. Alongside him is Liam O'Sullivan and Matthias Strauss on the inside of row 2. Both of those two, O'Sullivan and Strauss, jumped up to second and third respectively in the dying seconds of the session. Nathan Moore drops to fourth on what could have been a front row start for WSR eSports butt kicker. Dave Stedman and Jack James make up row 3. Patrick Zulfasi, Tijn van der Velde, row 4. Row 5 is Archie Coveney and Ben Mulryan. Moving on to the next page, and we almost have 2 full pages. Mike Wynn Robinson in the 46 on the inside of row 6, then Jorge Maquines on the outside. Then we have Karel Stout, Alaric Vandenbos. O'Neill Going is a new driver to the league. I have to get used to his name. Cotham on P8. Forgot his first name for a second. Pim van Gastel. And another Moore. Interesting. And then we have myself, but I accidentally registered as a driver, which was not supposed to happen. So I'm not in the race. Don't be alarmed. But we're about to get going here from the Brickyard for the sprint at the Speedway as we look down on the track here. So here we go. Field rolls off for a shortened pace lap. So before we dive into this race, I want to explain to the viewers who might not know oval racing too well, for those who are fans of the sprint series specifically, who don't know much about IndyCar. Oval racing is very error sensitive, so make sure that you watch where you are on the track relative to other cars. Try to look for as clean air as possible, wherever possible. And most importantly, take care of your tires and save some fuel in the early going to open up your strategy towards the end. So hopefully those drivers who don't drive ovals too much know what they're doing. We have one oval specialist on the front row at least, and Adam State is going to bring the field to green. So the first and only oval event of the season is about to get underway. Green flag is up and it's waving. We are underway from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As the field gets through turn 1, and we already have Strauss on the inside of O'Sullivan. Bit of a scuffle in the back for those positions, as Strauss still fighting on the inside of Liam. I'm surprised they were able to make it work, and now Liam to the lead on the inside on the entry to turn 3. Here he goes to the lead, as we have almost 3 wide there in the mid-pack. First car on the wall, that is the 61. As we have the first yellow of the day. So the lap count already in doubt for this race, as the field slows down for its first yellow, as we have a car peeling off into the pits with significant damage. So let's bring the pylon up at the end of the opening lap, and that was O'Neill Going. And O'Neill Going is a new driver to the series, I believe joined very late. Jensen O'Neill Going is his name, as he is stopped right before the pit entrance, so make sure that he tows, or at least drives a little bit forward, because at the moment he is still considered to be on the track, so if he stays stationary then he will trigger a extended yellow. But yeah, Liam O'Sullivan takes the lead at the end of the opening lap, as Cottam there is classified in first, but that's, I believe, because he towed, and if you tow you jump ahead a lap for some reason by iRacing. But there's Oliver Cottam, of course. Oliver in the pits. There he is with significant damage. He was the car that peeled off into pit lane with that heavy damage to the right front tire. So yeah, Liam O'Sullivan gets the jump off the line, and he is the Indy 500 winner in the VOR IndyCar series about 3 weeks ago at this point. A lot of smoke down the front straight. But Matthias Strauss, currently running in third. He was one of the drivers who also contended at the front in the Indy 500. Dave Stedman It's also a very experienced oval racer, especially in the oval fixed and oval series in general. I also remember racing against Dave in the Race vs IndyCar Challenge, which was a fun league about 3-4 years ago on unusual circuits that IndyCar at the time didn't race on except for Gateway. I remember one race at Milwaukee, which was pretty fun, but of course Milwaukee returned to the IndyCar schedule this year. So 16 drivers still in the race. As we jump forward to the second place car of Adam State, who won last week on the road course. Of course, Adam, his season story is a bit interesting. He crashed in the first race on cold tires on the outlap and crashed with Jorge Marquinez, who had nowhere to go. And of course won last week. Liam O'Sullivan came to a podium in the first race and didn't have too bad of a drive last week either. I believe he finished P4 from the top of my head. So Liam very much in championship contention, as we have lights out on the pace car, so we're going green. There it is, pace car off into pit lane. Green flag. Back in the air, we're back on the way at Indianapolis as Liam gets a big jump. Of course, Liam dictates the restart, but still gets a very nice jump off the line. Time boss side by side there with Robinson, I believe that was. As he tucks back into formation. As the top three speed away off into the distance, and they already gapped Dave Stedman and Jack James quite a bit going into turn 3, but Dave able to catch back up in the draft, and Jorge Marquinez riding the wall. Ooh, I think he just brushed it for just a moment, but I think he's okay. Settling into a rhythm here at Indy. As we see in the background, Jorge Marquinez trying to make a move on Ben Mulryan. On the outside, Jorge Marquinez does the Alexander Rossi line in the Devlin DiFrancesco livery. Gets a position from Stout. Defends the position from Stout, I should say. Successfully. So Liam leading where he feels comfortable. Adam State running in second and Matthias Strauss running in the third position. So that's your top three. Dave Stedman, Jack James, Nathan Moore, Tijn van der Velde, Archie Coveney, Patrick Silvassi and Ben Mulryan complete your top 10. Oh. Archie Coveney just brushed the wall, I believe, or at least it was very, very close on the exit of turn 2. As I look from the back of Archie Coveney's car towards Patrick Silvassi. And at the moment, everybody in single file formation, and I'm not sure if that is by design or by force. I did notice that the track temp was pretty hot, which is not ideal for this setup, at least at the moment. So hopefully that cools down, and actually we can bring up the weather. Let's see what the track temperature is. So it's 113 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 47 degrees Celsius, give or take 2 degrees. Of course, the overlay in English because it's inspired by NBC. Well, inspired, I say it's pretty much a clone. But anyway, it is an American overlay, so it uses American temperature units. Who doesn't love a bit of freedom, right? So, starting lap 8. Completing lap 7, starting lap 8. It's Liam still out in the lead. And I believe he is just trying to manage the dirty air and the fuel a little bit at the front, just like he did in the Indy 500. If you want to know who finished second to him that race, it was unfortunately me. But good result for the team that day. As Tijn van der Velde is looking to get a move on Nathan Moore. Tijn van der Velde, one of the drivers who missed last week's race. Did run in the DW12s in the Iconic Series. Put on a great show. A little bit too aggressive at times, but overall a great show by the number 76, the pink 76. Battling the likes of Edson Santos and Timothy Bree for about 20-30 laps in that Nashville race. We are on board with Tijn. Let's go back to lap 9 for just a brief moment. The previous lap of the race. It's Jorge Marquinez on the outside. Gets a massive run out of turn 2 and gets by on that outside, uses the draft to his advantage and pulls up into P11. Back up into P11. So here we go. Mike Wayne Robinson on the inside now. Of Alaric van den Bos. Stout looking to the inside of Savassi. Savassi cuts him off there with the dirty air, and this was exactly what I was mentioning in the beginning of the show. Managing the traffic and the dirty air is very critical for this race. As you can see, Stout pulling out to the left now. Back to the right to pick up the draft again. Realized he mistimed the move and he is going to have to sit back in line and wait for a little longer. Going to try to go the long way around. There is grip up there, but it's only limited when you have another car in front of you. Which Coveney did to cover that outside line off, as Stout got a really nice run down the back straight now. He's going to get stalled out here, I think, though. Or is he? He is, because Patrick pulls back in front, with a car directly in front pulling him forward. So Savassi holds on to P9. Savassi, one of the regulars in the IndyCar series for VOR. So Patrick knows how to run the ovals. As we go back to the front. Let's see how much time we have left. Of course, last week we came about 6 seconds short of completing all the laps. So we have 19 minutes and 16 seconds left on the clock now. So it's going to be tough if we can get to the end. It is giving 28 laps to go on the ticker. So we might be able to just about pull this one together. If it goes green to the end from here, which could happen, it also could not happen. We'll find out. As we have one car pulling off into pit lane. And that, I believe, is Pim van Gastel. Everybody in the back running a black livery, so very difficult to tell them apart. It was not Pim van Gastel, it was Ben Mulryan. Looks like we just missed Stout's pass on Savassi. Down the back straight, Stout gets a big run, and this time Savassi doesn't have as much aid of the draft, and Carroll to the inside. Pulls off a pretty neat pass right down the inside. It was simple but effective. And Stout brushes the wall on the exit of 2 now, so Savassi gonna look to come back to him. There he goes. Stout the long way around though, and like I mentioned, there was grip up there. Ooh. Almost looked for a quick second that Patrick was going to wash right in front of him, but he did not. He kept it under control, so good job by Patrick. Nathan Moore now to the inside, as well as Matthias Strauss. Gets by Adam State. Jack James loses a position to Nathan Moore. So now we're finally seeing some action here as Stijn van der Velde gets a nice run and a good look at it as well, but not quite close enough to make a move yet. And we have 25 laps to go. So there is still time, and of course don't forget the mandatory pit stop is still in effect as well for this race. So make sure to hit your marks the drivers need to make, and execute your pit stop as flawlessly as possible, as we have one of the other pink cars pulling into pit lane. Struggling to find who it is though. And that was Jonathan Moore. Okay. Yeah, like I mentioned, I apologize if I get any names wrong or struggle to identify other cars. We have a number of drivers in the field who have a very similar livery in terms of it's all the same color. So it's a bit difficult to tell who is who. And therefore I can't quite put any names to them quite as quickly. But Matthias Strauss to the lead. Passes Liam O'Sullivan on lap 17 of the race. Wouldn't surprise me if Liam put it into a lower fuel map and just lets Matthias have it here to save some fuel. Take some turns. Jonathan Moore exits the pits. There he is. Loses a lap to the race leaders. Liam definitely lifting to save some fuel behind Matthias, so both of those drivers, of course Matthias saved fuel early, Liam saving it now, trying to shorten the next pit stop and try to gain track position, which is a similar way how we won the 500 3 weeks ago. Apparently no fuel saving because Liam contradicts me right there, goes to the inside and takes the lead of the sprint at the Speedway. And there we go, Liam pulls into pit lane. He is the first of the leaders to dive down into the pits. Stout, Coveney and Van den Bos follow him in. So that hands the lead back to Matthias Strauss, who lost it only for about 5 seconds. As he has got Dave Stedman for company right behind him in the 84. As Stedman drafts up to Matthias, goes to the outside, gonna try to make it around the long way, but up in the grey. There's only so much grip on the outside, and that was too far up, where there is very little grip. As Matthias Strauss now pulls into pit lane. Patrick Silvassi follows him in, so the two Team Watson Racing drivers coming into the pits a lap later than Liam O'Sullivan, who is now exiting the pits. Let's see how big of a jump they can get over the people who pitted a few laps prior to them. Of course, they were about 4 or 5 seconds back compared to then. You can hardly even see anybody. You can just about see Stout right behind Liam, but Liam's got a perfectly executed pit cycle right there as he comes down the front straight. Matthias in the middle of turn 1, and you should see Liam fly by any second now, because I think Liam got a fantastic pit cycle. There they are. Matthias on the inside, not up to speed yet. This might be a bit closer than I thought. Liam does definitely take the lead, but Matthias right with Liam. As Carroll Stout made up a bunch of ground in that pit cycle, by the way. Remember, Carroll was in the mid-pack, and he is now a second behind the leader. So Carroll did a great job there, even better than Liam, to make up that ground. So now State, Moore, Stedman are your top 3. Stedman, State, Moore, I should say, in the correct order at least. And Dave is about to catch lap traffic. Now remember, we are actually using the blue flag rules from the road courses for this oval, which might not make too much sense, but it was to keep it simple. As Strauss has now passed Liam for the net race lead. Liam deciding to tuck in behind us, save some fuel. Save some tires as well to attack later at the end of the race. But I want to see if Stedman dives into pit lane this time around. We're over halfway in. No, still stays out, so he's going to try to catch the lap traffic. Use that draft, gain some speed over O'Sullivan and Strauss, who are swap drafting right now. You can quite clearly see it on the timing ticker. Let's take a look at them doing it. As Matthias now pulls to the inside. So for those who don't know what swap drafting is, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're swapping the drafts, and that way you're going faster. So on one end of the racetrack, Matthias will blow by Liam here. And on this particular end of the track, Liam will probably blow by Matthias here. And he does, pulls to the inside, simple move. And by doing this, you're actually gaining quite a bit of top speed. And Kara Stout is able to profit off the draft of those two in front to hang on. But so does Jack James. Patrick Silvassi not so much in that luxury position, because he is 2 seconds back from that group. But at the moment, Liam and Matthias definitely catching the leaders, and it's been about a second already since they came out of the pits. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they jump State and Moore by a long shot, and this might be a little bit of inexperience by State and Moore, who are primarily road course drivers. Of course, WSR eSports Buttkicker did try to qualify for the Indy Pro Series, but didn't quite make it. But their level of competitiveness is still very high, as Dave Stedman now makes his way down into pit lane. There he is. So Liam and Matthias still swapping the draft. And they've gained about 4 tenths again on that last lap. So they're definitely making progress. It is stalling out a little bit though. Remember that they gained a second the last 2 laps, and it's only been about 4 tenths now. So if you average that, it would have been a tenth slower than what they were capable of earlier. But Dave Stedman on pit out, and they clearly clear him. So not even a contest between those two. So is the rest of the net P4 top 4 positions. So Moore and State now trying to swap drafts for themselves as well. And Tijn van der Velde just sitting behind those two guys. And this might be a very smart move. Tijn knows that he was not at the front like Liam was, his teammate. So he's going to have to try a different way of getting up to the front, which is going long. Trying to keep up with the WSR eSports Buttkicker drivers. And they will try to stretch this one as long as possible. Jorge Martinez to the inside of a left car. That's Jonathan Moore. Don't believe Nathan Moore and Jonathan Moore are related. Jack James on the inside of Carroll Stout pulls off the pass. And definitely a bit more pace, and that's 53 over the 43. As he is now going to set sail for the 2 leaders to try and keep up with them. There goes Tijn van der Velde. So he is the first to blink of those people who stayed out longer. As State and Moore continue to swap positions. So move State up to the lead now. With about 12 laps to go. Now remember, we are a bit close for time. We have 8 minutes left. It is doable to do 12 laps in that time span, I believe. If my maths are correct, 43-second laps. It's going to be very, very close though, just like last week's road course race. And here we go, the 2 leaders coming in together. Ooh, that's going to be close. Oh, Nathan Moore just about slows it down without hitting his teammate, and that was way too close for comfort. I have to go back and look at a replay in just a second if I can find it. But man, that was really, really close. So here come the WSR eSports butt kicker drivers out of pit lane. And there come Liam and Matthias. Oh, wow. They really did lose a lot of time, apparently. At one point, they were clearly lapping quicker, so they must have lost that time somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. But now State and Moore clearly have a tire advantage. Oh, that's a big block throw right there by Nathan Moore. That's a bit dirty, bit naughty there, but holds on to the position for now. Does he? No, he does not. Jack James keeps his foot in it and moves up into P4. So Liam still in the lead. Adam State second. Matthias Strauss third. Then we have Jack James in fourth. Nathan Moore struggling to get up to speed. Dropped from fifth to sixth as Dave Stedman takes the position. Man, I have to take a look at that because that was a crazy move right there. Let's take a look at it. If I can even find it. Apparently I can't. ATVO is messing up again. Apologies about the overlay, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to restart it really quickly and then we'll get right back into the action. But in the meantime, Matthias Strauss did move up to second. As Liam now tries to break the draft. Matthias to the inside. Takes the lead of the sprint at the Speedway. Seven minutes left on the clock. Seven minutes, 7 laps on the clock. We're going to make this one, I believe. To the full distance. Matthias Strauss back to the inside, pulls it off as Dave Stedman now has a look as well. For the 4th position. Not quite able to make anything happen yet. But Jack James clearly on the move. Got by Dave Stedman while we were fixing the overlay. Oh, car in the wall. And it's Archie Coveney, so we're not going to go the distance. This might even finish on the yellow. And yeah, Archie's car is completely killed. But that will give us the time to quickly replay some of the action from this race. I want to see this move again. So this is on lap 30 of the race. Liam to the inside of Strauss. And then here is Jack James. So look at this. You got the two WSR eSports butt kicker drivers coming out of the pits. Liam and Matthias tried to pick their way through. Nathan Moore getting up to speed. Goes to the outside, and so does Jack James, face to the inside. And Nathan tries to block him off. Realizes he got there too late, and Jack James holds his foot down to the floor and pulls off a ballsy pass on the inside to make it work and move himself up into what eventually got P4, or became P4. So I believe Liam is going to give us the 1 lap to green this time by, so we will get more racing action in, and there it is. The lights on the pace car have gone out. Of course, Liam taking over admin duties from myself this season, as we have 5 laps left on the clock. And the timer is still stuck on 7 minutes for me, so this is a little bit incorrect. So yeah, for those who want to join the remainder of the sprint series, we have 2 races left to go after this one. Brands Hatch on October 10th and the Red Bull Ring on October 17th. Then the Iconic Series on Fridays. We have the California 200, Pocono 200, Kentucky 200, then Legacy Phoenix 150, Michigan and Las Vegas, all 200-mile races. Then, of course, the Premier IndyCar Series running on Saturdays, and Laguna Seca, Pocono, Kentucky, Phoenix, Detroit, and Las Vegas. So we have about 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, so this will be either a 1-lap shootout or a 2-lap shootout. We'll find out in about 10 seconds when we cross the line whether it will give us the white flag or not, pretty much. So here we go, second restart of the day. We've had quite a lengthy green flag stint. Can we finish it under green with a little over a minute left? Liam O'Sullivan picks up the pace. And we are back on the way for, I believe, 2 more laps of racing, as far as I can see. So Liam, a sitting duck at the moment. Matthias and Adam State have this completely in control. They can control when they want to pass Liam and when not to. As Jonathan Moore hits the wall on the exit of turn 2, we stay green. Oh, big aggressive move. Jack James once again to the inside. Can he pull it off? Yes, he can. Wow, what a move. Here we come to the white flag in the air. Matthias Strauss to the inside of Liam O'Sullivan as the overlay once again glitched himself. Will remove it for the final lap. And we are on the yellow again, so Liam O'Sullivan is going to win the sprint at the Speedway. Wow, what an anticlimactic finish, but Jack James with a ballsy pass for the podium. Would you look at that? Incredible. There is Liam in the number 12 Altena Autosport car, crossing the yard of bricks. And does some donuts right away. I love it when the overlay doesn't even let me control iRacing. Well, there you have it. Those are your race results. Liam O'Sullivan goes back to back. First wins the Indy 500, now wins the sprint at the Speedway. 37 1,000ths of a second over Matthias Strauss. Jack James finishes P3. Adam State drops to fourth place on the last lap of the race. Dave Stedman completes the top 5. Then we have Nathan Moore, Carol Stout, Patrick Silvassi, Tijn van der Velde, and Jorge Martinez, who rounds off the top 10. Moving on to the next and final page of results, it is Pim van Gastel in P11, Jonathan Moore P12, Alaric van den Bos in P13. Then it's Archie Coveney, Ben Mulrine, Mike Wynne Robinson, Oliver Cottam, and Jensen O'Neill going, who finishes last in P18. I want to go back and look for that pass by Jack James for the podium position. Look at this. He did the same thing that he did when Jonathan Moore came out of the pits. Look, Adam State covers the inside, and Jack James just like, nope, I'm going to send it in, and pulls it off. And manages to hold on with the dirty air as well. I need to take another look at this. Look at it. Boom. Just sends it in there. No fear whatsoever. Wow. I love seeing those moves. As Liam O'Sullivan right at the front of the field here. Pulls to the outside to the line. And that was actually the race. That was not a caution. Okay, interesting. I thought it said one lap to go with the white flag, but yeah, Liam O'Sullivan pulls it off to the line. Beats Matthias to the line. Remember how I said Liam was a sitting duck? Yeah, he knows this track longer than today. So it's time to talk to some people. We'll start with Jack James. Hello, Jack. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
I'm doing good. Catching my breath. Tell us about your big balls right there.
No, it was a really good race actually. I'm not really much of an oval man, to be totally honest with you, but so I was speaking to Liam about doing some strategy before the race, and I sort of took a gamble going a couple of laps longer, and it paid off. I managed to jump a couple of positions, and then I had some Indy 500 2023 flashbacks there just before the final restart, and I managed to get Adam into turn 3, and that was pretty much a done deal at that point.
Yeah, you also made a move on Moore, I believe. So you kicked 2 WSR eSports butt kicker drivers their butts going into turn 3. Great move from you today. Seriously though, those moves were really impressive. I don't think I have seen that many people who just send it in there and just, well, pray.com that it sticks. So great job on that, seriously. For somebody who doesn't run ovals too much, like you just said, you're not an oval driver. You did a fantastic job today. Congratulations on your podium. Can we see you back for the next 2 races?
Yes, I think I'll be around for Brands Hatch. I mean, Brands Hatch is my local in the real world, so hopefully I can pull some good points on the board there as well.
Absolutely. Any shout outs to people or sponsors out there?
Yeah, no, of course. Obviously, thank you to Liam, who's put on this amazing league for everyone. It's run really, really professionally. I've seen all the streams back, and they look really, really top notch. So all the guys behind the production and who put it all together, massive well done to them, and thank you for putting on such a good show.
That will just be me, at least for the sprint series.
Well, thank you very much, Julien.
Yeah, only for the sprint series though. I can't take full credit because Gary and David have done a great job with the other 2 series. But yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for the kind words, and we'll see you at Brands Hatch in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thanks, Julien.
Yeah, go out and celebrate.
Come on.
All right, that was Jack James, and let me just take a quick second there to get my stuff right here. There we go. Okay, let's drag Matthias Strauss in. Hello, Tete. Congratulations on P2. Not quite the result you were hoping for. They're coming to the line, but tell us about your last lap battle with Liam.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to battle with Liam because you know what you get, and we know each other pretty well. So we know what we could do and not do, and we just pushed flat out to the finish. And I was kind of forced to go for the move. I couldn't really sit back on the back straight because, well, mainly I was struggling a bit overall in general over around the oval today. So when I got the chance, I took it immediately, but he just nipped me.
Yeah, and that seems to be a trend lately. Liam seems to have figured out Indy, but I have to say, speaking to you as a driver now as well, like you're really starting to figure this track out. So keep on grinding, and you'll get there. I know you can.
Yeah, I mean, practice makes perfect, and especially since I've got my win now, I'm not even mad to losing to Liam anymore. I was pissed early on, but now I'm accepting the solid P2 finishing positions and points towards the championships.
Yeah, if I can make you tolerate it even more, I believe Liam is the one who spent hours and hours and hours to test for the Indy 500, which was pretty much the same setup as today. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better. But still
Yep.
a great job on that P2. Any thoughts on Brands Hatch going into an off week and then into Brands Hatch?
We'll see. I mean, I have another Swedish league I'm racing on, and I believe they might clash sometimes. So I'm still unsure if I'm gonna do Brands Hatch or not.
I don't blame you if you pick the other league. To be honest, Brands Hatch is a disaster. But anyway, congratulations on your P2. Any people you want to shout out? Of course, your team as well. I would assume anyway.
Yeah, it's obvious Team Watson Racing, James Watson, and Victor Aldrich, who paints my livery, and of course my family, mother, brother, and father. So big thank you to them for allowing me to race under the flag and race on the evenings.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you next time then for whenever that's going to be in the sprint series, and we'll see you in a little over a week for the Laguna Seca race in the IndyCar series.
Yep, we will. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was Matthias Strauss. Let's bring in Liam. And Liam, hello. Congratulations on your second win this year at Indy. Or should I say your third? Because you also won with the IR setup, I believe. But you figured out the track, Liam. Congratulations on the win. Tell us about the last lap battle with Matthias and also your pit strategy with I believe you pitted at 22 23 like 22 23 to try and swap with Matthias to get to the front. Tell us about your thoughts process there and eventually the pit battle with WSR eSports butt kicker.
So my plan was hit around 18, 19 on the earlier side because I'm keeping myself on the lead lap, and if a caution comes out around there, I'm going to cycle back to the front anyway, so I'm covering myself. And in a 40-lap race, there's no need to be running it long, trying to maximise the amount of fuel. So pitting early is honestly the better side of thing if you're at the front. And I'm amazed we got that many green flag laps. I think that's a credit to trusting the people we have in this league, that mainly they're road course guys, but got on an oval, and most of the guys have absolutely fine. We put on a great race, only 2 cautions, which one off the start, which is always a hectic time, and then one at the end, which spiced up the ending. So I thought it was a really good race. Setup, great as usual. Again, you could pass in the pack, I felt like a lot better. I think Jack really showed that. And yeah, the WSR guys tried the opposite strategy, ran long, nearly worked for them. I think they just struggled coming out of the pits. I don't think they took tyres, which might have been what let them fade. But yeah, overall, really good race. And again, undefeated at Indy.
You bring up an interesting point with the WSR eSports butt kicker drivers not taking tires. I did not notice that actually. That is, that's a good reason why they couldn't pass. Because I thought they had this in the bag with the tire advantage, but yeah, they must have not pitted then. Yeah, that clears up a lot of things. But going into the next race, Brands Hatch, Liam, I think it's only fitting you talk a little bit about what you're going to be using to sponsor the race.
Yeah, so I just want to take this opportunity to shout out a hand-in-hand charity. About 6-7 months ago, I had a amazing opportunity to go out and work out with the children out in Kenya, to understand the work that goes in over there, to help support and give everyone an equal chance, from children who've had troubled pasts, medical issues, just being unwanted, to give them a second chance in life to really believe anything they've wanted to do over the last 20 years. It's been something quite magical to see firsthand. And I wanted to take the opportunity to really spread the word over what I went and witnessed, which I think is quite a powerful message over what occurred that still will stay with me forever. So the Hand in Hand 100 coming next Thursday, or I don't know if we have a week break, is going to be, again, a chance of 6 months after that to commemorate that, and hopefully will be a good event, a very different track, Brands Hatch. Again, almost kind of street circuit-esque with single file for these cars, I'd say, but really difficult to make a pass. Again, different variety of track, which we've already had very contrasting tracks to start this season, and it just adds to that variety.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question, but you already answered it for me. So, yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Liam, for all you do with the series now. It actually takes a lot of my hands as well to do it. So, I appreciate that. And congratulations on the win once again, back to back in the 500 and also the sprint. So, good job. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
All right, well, that is it for today's broadcast. Want to say hi and thanks to everybody in chat. We got Alex Boney in chat. Max Verstappen is commentating, apparently so. It's Arie Luijendijk. I mean, I don't think I sound too much like Arie, but I mean, who do I sound like? That's probably a question I should answer myself. I should look for an answer for. Is probably a better way of saying it. But Tijn is well in the chat, and Alaric van den Bos in the chat too. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks on October 17th for the Brands Hatch sprint of Brands Hatch, the Hand in Hand 100, as Liam just mentioned, where we will promote that charity a little bit more than we are doing today, as we get some more information on it and able to provide you the proper information and links and all that stuff come that time. But yeah, like I mentioned, the next race is in 2 weeks at Brands Hatch. Of course, the final race of the season at Red Bull Ring coming up on October 17th. Then, of course, the Iconic Series on Fridays. This is back next week, next Friday at California, and it will run all the way to December 13th. And so is the IndyCar Series, the IR18. It's at Laguna Seca up next on next Saturday, and it runs all the way to December 14th, also at Las Vegas, with Detroit and Laguna Seca in there. So for those who are interested in joining, the Sprint Series and the Iconic Series are free to enter. There is a $15 entry fee for the IndyCar Series. So if you want to race in any of those, you can. Just make sure you meet the entry requirements and we'll get you sorted. So yeah, join the Discord. Sign up if you want to race with us. And if not, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the coverage today and of the previous races. I'll hand over the mic to Gary Gotzo for next Friday's Iconic Series race at California. We'll see you all in 2 weeks at Brands Hatch.